What was it like acting in like what's it like acting? I mean, you started in like The Simpsons and Lonesome Dove and stuff. What's the difference between acting and wrestling?
Well, one doesn't hurt, one does. But there's not a lot of difference. I think anyone that was a really good wrestler, like at least a wrestler of my caliber, and I think there's a lot of wrestlers out there that were like me that had very complicated. When you map out your match with somebody, especially you're going to go 40 minutes or 30 minutes, there's a lot of things you got to remember. You got to remember when to duck. You got to remember when to move. You got to remember all these things on a split second, and you can't go fuzzy in the ring. Go, geez, I can't remember what is the next move. You have to. I very rarely ever screwed up a spot in the ring with my opponent. I mean, I think when I watch my matches back, and I think I've seen 1 or 2 times that I ever screwed up a spot in a match. And I was really a pro at remembering every little thing in the detail, the facial expressions, how I'm going to get up and I'm going to look at the referee. I'm going to get the referee's face. I'm going to tell him it was a 3 count. All these little details that you paint into your story. It's all memory. You got to remember this stuff. Sometimes you're thinking and going over this stuff over and over in the dressing room with your opponent, and you got to remember it without it screwing up. You can't flub your lines. There's no cut, retake. Let's shoot that again. There's no retake. And when I acted, it was the same way, and it wasn't that hard for me to remember a lot of lines. If I memorized my lines and put a lot of thought into it and really rehearsed, I was pretty good at remember. I never flubbed any of my lines in any of the acting shows I did. I was always, what I said is what was written, and that's how I did it. And same with wrestling, I would go through a lot of details with my opponents, tag team or single, and it had to be done a certain way. I was a perfectionist in there. I was a guy that when I went out there, I often had to kind of cover up either somebody else's mistake, like my opponent that would forget what the next move is. One of my, I hate wrestlers that talk in the ring, that you see them communicating or like whispering in their ear and then throwing them the ropes and stuff. And there was a lot of wrestlers, including my brother Owen, that were guilty of that. But you don't very often, except for Wembley, where I didn't have much choice. You can see me sometimes communicating with Bulldog in the ring. But that's one of the only matches that you'll see me talking. I was, you watch the Iron Man match, you never see Sean or me talking one bit ever to each other, and that's to me it's a fail. Like when you see somebody talking in the ring, it's like kills the reality, the realism of it, and it's a big minus. Like, you might have the greatest match in the world, but some guys talk all the way through it, and you got to keep them telling each other what they're doing. And I was, that's an automatic fail. Like when I was a little kid in the ring, and I watched somebody jump up for a drop kick, and the guy took a big bump, and the guy missed him by this much. That's a fail. Like the guy that missed with the drop kick. That's inexcusable. That's not allowed. I'm a fan, and I bought a ticket. I want to see you hit both feet right on the face. And I was always, if I saw wrestlers that were really skilled that did, never missed a spot and always looked really good, their timing, that to me was a great wrestler. And same with talking and communicating in the ring. Whenever I see wrestlers do it, especially on old wrestling matches from the 90s, some of the great wrestlers that were big stars were really guilty of giving it away. And to me, when I hear about how great they were and how people worship these guys, I always go, well, I can show you one match after another where they talk all the way through the match, and that's automatic fail. Makes you a shitty worker and a shitty wrestler. And some of the great wrestlers were shitty wrestlers, and I won't name names or anything, but there was a lot of guys that were bad at talking in the ring, and I just always, that's automatic fail. And very rarely, except for Wembley, one of the only matches you'll find me talking.